Welcome back to OG's Danger Show. I'm OG. I'm out here on the side of Danger Mountain. And is this not some of the most beautiful place that a person could ever dream of to go shooting? The fall woods of central western Idaho. Unbelievable. Hey, I've got something that's a little more shocking. The other day I was contacted by OneLeaf. They're a company that has sent me a lot of night vision devices, even a thermal device 6 or 8 months ago. Well, they contacted me a while back and asked if I would be interested in their Mars Mini. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, send it to me, and if I like it, we'll show it on the show. I've always been very, very, very impressed with the OneLeaf products. They are not made like a lot of Chinese toys. They're not lightweight. They're not plasticky. They're made very, very durable for a lot of outdoor use. Well, when this OneLeaf Mars Mini showed up in the mail, I immediately cracked open the box because, first of all, the box is only yay big, and I was amazed by this thing. This tiny little device right here is a full function thermal device that will fit on a pistol. And yes, I've got a Glock 40 out here with me. It's admittedly a big pistol. However, this OneLeaf Mini mounts right to the top of it, and I can use it, well, almost like a red dot sight, except I've got thermal capabilities. Let's take a look at this thing up close, and I'm going to show you some of its features. You're actually going to be surprised because this thing has every single feature of its bigger brothers that are out there on the thermal market. It's in a package the size of a salt and pepper shaker, and it's actually got a couple extra features that are required because of its size. So let's take a look at it. I think you guys are going to be shocked. So to the best of my knowledge, there's only one other company that's come out with a successful thermal optic that's fit on a pistol before, and I believe that was HoloSun some time ago. You don't ever see these things on the market. I'm not even sure if HoloSun ever really came to market with that. I did look through one at SHOT Show a year or two ago, and I was impressed. It's a real tactical look, but I've never seen them really out there in the wild. This thing is available right this second, and let me warn you up front, they are not cheap. But if a little thermal device that you can either use as a handheld binocular, a pistol-mounted thermal device, or you can mount it on a rifle, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that here in just a second on my Caracal rifle. Man, this thing just blew me away with all of the functions that are in this tiny little shrunken device, including a laser rangefinder. That actually is kind of shocking that it's all squeezed in to this little package. So how do you operate something like this, OG? It's so tiny, it doesn't even have all the buttons of a bigger thermal. Well, it does have the 4 control buttons up on top. However, OneLeaf has included finally some touchscreen technology. You can actually use your finger to change the settings on this little thermal device. That's pretty shocking, and it's actually worked out really well. It's unbelievably intuitive for even dullards like me, who really, we don't tend to sit around and look at the instructions. In fact, when I took this thing out of the box, I started playing with it. The first thing I did, of course, is powered it up. It's got enough battery to run, I don't know, a few hours even straight out of the box. But I powered this thing up and I started playing without even looking at the instructions because I'm a dude. And I was able to run through the different screens, the different colors, the different reticles, basically the entire menu on this little optic, including the rangefinder, all without looking at the instructions. Now, it does help to go through the instruction booklet because it's got some other cool features on it. This is an awesome little piece of equipment, and it still blows me away that they were able to come up with something that is so tiny. Unbelievable. And before I forget, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to join us over on Patreon and help support OG's Danger Show, I'm going to leave a link down here in the description section. Very much appreciate your support over on Patreon. You guys are keeping this show alive. You can also give a super thanks right underneath this video, a YouTube feature here where you can click on a little button and donate to OG's Danger Show one time. Or 1,000,000 times. I don't know what you want to do with your money. And before I forget, I need to give a special thanks to my ammo guy, Dustin, down in Kuna, Idaho. Dustin's been a longtime fan of the show. He's watched Tailflater Mouse and OG's Danger Show since the beginning. And Dustin loads all my ammo for me. He has given me a truckload of 10mm and 4570 ammo. And I very much appreciate Dustin's contribution. So Dustin, thank you very much for donating all of your time, your energy, and the supplies into reloading my 10mm brass for me. That's awesome. So first, the amazing dimensions of this thing. It's only 3 inches by 2.27 inches. Now that's kind of shocking that they can get all this technology jammed into something that's essentially the size of a salt and pepper shaker. This thing comes in at 0.4 pounds, 0.4 of a pound, And that's actually kind of surprising considering everything that's packed in here. And more importantly, it can ride on the slide of your pistol without interfering with the function of your gun. It's got 720 by 720 pixel video resolution, so it gets a very clear picture, especially for thermal these days. OneLeaf includes a 64 gigabyte little micro SD card here in this little port. You can either eject this little micro SD card and put it into your computer and transfer off all of your video and photos, or you can plug this little device, still attached to your pistol, directly into your computer with the included USB data cord, and not only charge the device, but you can transfer all of those photos and video straight into your computer. Now, I've never had a hard drive for my computer that's shaped like a Glock 40, but this thing is pretty badass. And yes, the Mars Mini actually records audio directly to the device. Now, as I scan these woods here, you are hearing the actual onboard audio through the Mars Mini. And I've got this thing extended out here at about arm's length. So let's say it's about 18 inches away from my face. You're hearing the onboard audio recorded onto the Mars Mini as it records video. Again, blows me away that all these features of the bigger thermal devices are packed into this little dinky device. So your Mars Mini is going to come in this one little box here from OneLeaf. And this is a nice small little box. It's got all of the included things in it. I'll go over those in just a minute. But this thing's about half the size of a shoebox. Here's what I wanted to show you. They include 3 of these little 1600 milliamp, the 18350 batteries. They give you 2 of them in a nice little waterproof case that you can throw in your pocket if you're out in the field, and then they include 1 already in the device. And as I mentioned before, you can charge these batteries by throwing them in the device and then plugging this thing into your computer with the USB cord, charge them right here on board. The battery port on the Mars Mini is this nice little easy to use captured with a little cord, screw top opening. And you're going to see inside one of those 18350 batteries. Plugs right in there sort of crosswise, which is odd, but it is the way it is so that it fits in this device. And OneLeaf claims that it gives you about 3 hours of runtime. I haven't tested this. You're just going to have to trust them. In the past, I've found OneLeaf's estimation of time on their batteries to be pretty dang accurate. So you've got about 9 hours of runtime if you head out into the field with 3 charged batteries. So this part really gives me the fizz. I'm not sure exactly what OneLeaf is going to include in your box. I don't know if these are options or if this was just sent to me because I'm a very important influencer. It comes with the option of a 19 or 25 millimeter lens that you can add in here. They are going to include this Picatinny rail mount. The PM1 rail mount allows your Mars Mini to be mounted right onto that little bed, and then you use the quick release to mount it directly onto the Picatinny rail of any rifle, so that you've got essentially thermal in front of, a clip-on thermal in front of your optic, or you could even run it as a dedicated thermal instead of your optic. So if you've watched any of my thermal videos in the past, you know that I'm not a big fan of making my rifle a dedicated thermal rifle. I want to be able to see in the daylight using a regular optic, and if I need to be able to add a thermal on there, that is extra cool, but I do not want to make my rifle thermal only because I lose the use of regular sights for daylight conditions. OneLeaf includes a package of all of the tools you're going to need, as well as the battery cap O-rings. So you've got probably a lifetime supply of extra O-rings thrown in there too. They include these little heat packs. These little heat packs are designed like the little hand warmers to be included for zeroing your thermal. Another thing that OneLeaf included, at least in my package, again, this might not be in every single package, but they include the adapter plates for the Delta Point Pro, the RMSC adapter, and the Glock MOS adapter. So I used the Glock MOS adapter, and as you can see here, the Glock MOS adapter is the exact width of the Glock slide. It doesn't overhang the slide or come in a little bit too shallow in the slide, allowing moisture into that bare metal. Ooh, that's already getting warm. The sticky stuff might work, but let's get a couple of staples in there for good measure. So you can see here that as I reach up and hit the menu button, press and hold the menu button, on screen is going to come up the menu. And I'll try to get this focused here with the little GoPro. And man, it's every feature from the larger thermal devices right here. Press and hold the menu button, and we're right back to looking at our hand warmer out there at, it's about 15 yards away on that tree. Let's go ahead and press and hold the record button on the screen. There you go. Now we can see the hand warmer on the tree about 15 yards away through the GoPro and right here recording onto the screen of the Mars Mini. Pretty cool. This is an offset. It's a QD 45 degree offset mount. Now this is the kind of stuff you usually have to pay a lot extra for. And then you've got a QD lever right here that is going to allow you to mount this directly onto your rifle. And now I've got the use of my primary optic, but I just have to glance over to the right and I'm able to scan the woods with my thermal sight, but not occlude my regular daylight fighting sight. This has got a 640 pixel resolution sensor, and you're going to get a display resolution of 720 pixels. There's a 1:6 power digital zoom built into the Mars Mini. White hot 2 power, 3 power, 4 power. You can see that it starts breaking down. The picture starts breaking down a little bit. There's 5, definitely more pixelated, and 6. Now this thing comes with 7 reticle types, just like its big brother, and it's as easy as swiping across the screen to change your reticles. You've got 5 reticle colors: white, red, green, blue, and yellow. The actual color palettes that you're going to use most on your Mars Mini are white hot, sepia, iron hot, rainbow, night, red hot, jungle, or black hot. The Mars Mini records in MP4 format. Those MP4 files can be transferred directly onto your computer or sent to your phone. And this is the part that is probably one of the most shocking things about this tiny little device. Built into the side here, barely larger than a postage stamp, is an actual laser rangefinder. You can see the 2 lenses there for sending and receiving. Now, laser rangefinders in the past have been almost the size of this entire device. Now you've got your thermal with a built-in rangefinder. It's not an option, so you don't have to add it on for an extra price. It's included right here with your Mars Mini. It's a laser rangefinder that's good for 5 out to 1,500 meters, or about 5.5 out to 1,640 yards away in something that's, about the size of a piece of Bubblicious. And like everything they do, OneLeaf includes a 3-year warranty on their devices. So you send it directly back to the factory and they will replace or repair anything that you have that goes wrong with your devices. And that actually brings me to another point about the Mars Mini. The little rubber port over here on the left side of the device that covers the USB-C port, the charging port, data transfer port, and the little micro SD card. This little rubber cover tends to pop off under recoil. I was firing this pistol with some 10mm rounds, not even super hot 10mm rounds, and this little cover kept coming off. It's not that big of a deal really, it's just something that OneLeaf might want to address. I plan on putting just a piece of black electrical tape over there just to hold that down and provide a little extra waterproofing if I was out in the elements with this thing and needed that little rubber cover to stay locked down. Now the Mars Mini comes with a ballistic calculator feature all built right into the device. It's something that I've never used on any of these devices. I probably will never use it even on the Mars Mini. But if you're a ballistics nerd and you really like having those ballistic parameters already loaded into your optic for different loads, bullet weights, powder grains, all that nerdy horse shit, you can load it directly onto the Mars Mini using, again, the touchscreen and have all of that stored on there. I really can't believe they've packed it into something the size of a shot glass. So it's starting to get dark out here. I need to get rolling. I know that's the conditions that you want to test a thermal in, but right now the woods in central Idaho are actually rather cold. I don't have much to look at out here, so I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you're interested in something like this Mars Mini, you might check down the comment section. Probably somebody at the top is going to be talking about a link about where you could go to get such a thing. Remember, they're not inexpensive, but there is a ton of technology packed in this little tiny device. I think you're going to be impressed. I was truly impressed. I get a lot of these different things sent to me. This one kind of knocked my socks off. Really cool. You guys got to decide whether it's worth the price. Use the link in the comment section down below. It'll help OG's Danger Show if you make your purchase. Remember, Christmas is coming up. All right, you guys stay safe out there. Stay armed whenever and wherever you can. And until next video, OG out.